Sonny Liston.
I watched him here in the gym a few months ago.
Oh, snap.
Howard King.
It's a
And
goat.
he can hit a guy in the elbows and just about break his arm.
Liston was virtually invincible.
Bro, if a dude hit me in my elbow and my whole arm snapped, oh my god. What?
Just a dreadnought of a fighter.
Liston was a great fighter. I seen him knock out a guy's teeth one night. It's the truth, no baloney. Hit him so hard, he dislodged the mouthpiece and the teeth went with the mouthpiece.
He had this very forbidding and intimidating, utterly hostile.
2 hammers and an 84-inch reach.
Oh my god. Bruh is a monster, chat.
Liston was born on a cotton plantation in Arkansas. He was the 24th of 25 children.
Beaten every day by his father until he was 14.
But he had a tough life, you know.
What? He couldn't find nobody else to beat? They had 20 kids?
We talk about Tyson's tough life. A lot of people had tough lives. Sonny Liston had a tough life.
His abusive father beat him daily.
Welts on his back the rest of his life. Could neither read nor write.
Liston's publicist, Harold Conrad, said of Sonny, quote, "I think he died the day he was born," end quote. As soon as he was able, he ran away and never looked back.
God, man, I hope he went back and beat the shit out of his dad. Oh, I hope he went back. I hope he went back and just KO'd him.
Liston, who came into the professional ranks an undefeated amateur champion. He TKO'd the veteran Julio Madero in 3 rounds that night. Tonight, the competition steps up. A tremendous youngster, this Sonny Liston.
The youngster was actually somewhere in his 30s. You see, Liston never knew his real birth date.
Sonny Liston.
Author Paul Gallagher spent several decades researching Liston's life. He states Liston was most likely born between 1919 and 1921. The world never got to see a truly prime Liston.
Sonny
he most likely fought his debut fight
old?
between the age of 30 and 34.
Sonny Liston coming up.
He got a debut fight at 30? He was knocking dudes out and they were talking like this about somebody that was 30? Oh my god.
Out of the left-hand corner, where's the black trunks?
Every fight we see, every photo seen, all are taken when Liston is probably in his 30s. This is Liston's 20th fight.
Liston gets through with a good right hand and a left, and Bethia is in trouble already.
Like, if you tell me that boxers don't cherry pick fights, all I'm saying is, bro, this dude is half the size of this man in this ring right now. They put this man in here to get rocked, and that was it.
With a good right hand and a
Look
left,
at this
and Bethia is in trouble already.
Look at this.
He was 19-1 with an early loss that he later avenged with a first-round knockout.
I feel like this is the first fight or two. I'm sorry, I'm not pausing no more. But I feel like this is the first fight or two I feel like I've actually been able to see that it looks like they're actually punching through the guy.
Liston throws it on. Bethia trying to...
How is he still
He
up?
intimidated the opponent. They were intimidated before they even got in the ring. He was a massive guy. He was just awesome.
Oh.
And Bethia is down.
In his only defeat, that by Marty Marshall, early in his career, he later gained revenge. He knocked Marshall out in Pittsburgh.
Liston knows he has his man and continues to hammer punches home.
Sonny Liston was a great puncher. He could punch with either hand.
And he's not protecting at all.
Good ring sense. Stops it. Sonny Liston wins going away.
The fight has been stopped. Sonny Liston comes through with a sensational 1-round TKO. A run for cover. The wallop in Liston's fist is something to behold.
After fleeing his father's abuse, Sonny found his way to St. Louis.
He goes all the way to St. Louis, from Arkansas to St. Louis, and it's an incredible, in itself, it's an incredible odyssey for a kid to take.
When I was big, I weighed 218, so I figured, I said, well, I'm a man now, I can take it on my own.
So begins the sort of life on the streets.
So he literally can't read or write, and he's 18 by himself. How? In 19... Oh, my God. Oh my God, this is like, no wonder people love this guy so much, bro.
And so he starts rousting people for their nickels and dimes.
He quickly graduated from ruling his neighborhood by force to armed robbery.
Until that lands him in prison.
He spent 5 years in the Missouri State Penitentiary for armed robbery.
Liston was in and out of prison, and for much of his life associated with less than savory characters.
He has a serious prison record: armed robbery, assaults on police officers.
This is a turning point of sorts for Liston.
It was here where his unique ability to fight was recognized and channeled into boxing.
Most people lose their careers in prison. Sonny found his.
This is Father Stevens, who ran the prison boxing program.
There's a quote from Father Stevens.
They just had. Perfect. You're trying to sit here and tell me that they just had inmates beating the crap out of each other in jail? And then they were like raising them to be fighters? I guess, hey, listen, hey, if it's all over, you might as well do something, huh?
Specimen of manhood I had ever seen, and talked about the big shoulders and the strength and the biggest hands.
He begins to box, wipes out the competition.
They had to put 2 or 3 in the ring with him to get him any kind of exercise.
He had 14 inches. And Father Stevens said it was hard to fit gloves, conventional boxing gloves, onto his hand.
He had these mammoth hands, right?
The ringside physician taking his vitals, he said it occurred to me that if he hit me in the face, he would hit me in my entire face.
Tonight, however, he goes against Sonny Liston, a young man who has never been knocked off his feet. Wearing a white trunk, weighing 210, Sonny Liston. Liston now has won 18 consecutive fights. 14 of those 18 by knockout.
He had a left jab in front of him, which was probably the best in all heavyweight history. Had the kind of a jab that went through you.
God!
He had one of the greatest jabs of all time, if not the greatest. Yep. It was hard. It was a foam palm.
God!
He split both of Willie Besmanoff's eyes, forcing a 3rd round stoppage.
There's no use trying to stop that one across the ring.
If my niggas don't stop the fight after the first eye split, we gotta talk, bro. I gotta fire the whole corner.
Goes the referee, Mike Minich, and this bout has ended. And it was in a reformatory to which he was sent that he learned to box, developed an interest in boxing.
Liston had conquered the prison circuit, and Father Stevens brought him into a boxing manager who was owned by Frankie Carbo and John Vitale.
The father at the Missouri State Prison, he took him to John Vitale.
The mob, Frankie Carbo and John Vitale, owned him from day one of his boxing career.
Was alleged mob underboss and junior racketeer.
Carbo secured Sonny's parole and immediately started his amateur boxing career.
He won the Golden Gloves here, then he went to the national championships where he had 3 fights. None lasted more than 3 months.
His amateur boxing career lasted only a year. He was undefeated. But boxing wasn't his only job. Liston was now an enforcer for the mob.
He was tired of cracking heads when the guys in the union go on strike. Sonny was a head cracker.
And they involved him, hired him to enforce.
Oh, I mean, I bet he wasn't getting paid. That's probably why.
Their strikes.
He beat people up in the street because other people paid him money to do so.
Boxing by night and cracking skulls by day.
And he hated being owned by the mob.
May the best man win. Good luck to both of you. Sonny Liston in the white trunks coming out of the left-hand corner against Cleveland Williams.
Sonny Liston belongs among the 5 greatest heavyweights of all time.
How do you even get wrapped up in that kind of stuff? I don't understand. I don't get it at all.
In 1960, Sonny had destroyed the division.
He has awesome power. He's given us some exciting fights.
Liston blasted his way through every top contender in the heavyweight division.
I was an intimidator until I fought Sonny Liston.
He could punch and he knew how to fight. He had technique.
I had 147 fights. 4 world champions I fought 9 guys in the top 10. And nobody ever hit me like that guy.
Cleveland Williams is batted into submission.
Every time he hit, he broke something.
By Sonny Liston here in...
It was a freak of nature.
Being called by many experts the uncrowned heavyweight champion, Sonny Liston.
The media portrayed him as a monster.
Like a tragic beast, almost like King Kong to me.
An animal to be feared and not accepted.
But the press hated him because Sonny did not like to talk. He used to say, I don't talk to my wife. Why would I talk to a man?
But Liston never really got past, and I think this must have haunted him personally too, the cloud of having been a convict, having the mob influence, having cops who just did not trust him.
Liston was hated by the public and hounded by the police for his past.
He got stopped 25 days in a row in Denver.
Liston was picked up for questioning over 100 times and arrested 16 times on charges ranging from breach of the peace to suspicion of theft.
When you went through that, what Sonny went through, that's what made Sonny a killer, angry in the ring. That's what made him knock out cops and put him in trash cans.
He wound up in another fight with a policeman. Wound up putting him upside down in the trash barrel.
He served 9 months in a city workhouse. When he was released, the police told him to leave St. Louis or else.
But now the police were tired of arresting him and they just told him get out of town or else.
Sonny Liston, I think, was the greatest intimidator of all time. I've seen him stare guys down where they were so scared climbing up the ring steps they could barely get in the ring.
The mental part. The intimidation. Guys that live that kind of life, they can sniff it out. The guys that are real and the guys that aren't real.
Liston is known in the fight game as a man who likes to end fights early.
A rematch with Cleveland Williams went the same way as the first. Liston's title shot was becoming an inevitability.
And the fight is
bro. They're holding my guy, because you telling me he didn't knock this many dudes out? He ain't already got a title?
Ernie Taylor stops the fight at TKO in the second round, and we'll get the time for you. Listen to this crowd.
Having left St. Louis, Sonny spent a few years in Philadelphia. Eventually, he'd purchase a home in an upscale Las Vegas neighborhood.
He's in Las Vegas, Nevada now. That's his hometown. A back view of his lavish home. There's the front. $85,000 it's supposed to have cost. And Sonny owns 2 cattle.
The local residents were predictable in their anger.
They didn't like the fact that a black family had moved there. Right. And they thought, well, now that this Sonny Liston is moving here, what's next? Joe Louis? And in fact, Joe Louis did move in there.
With one of his best friends to this day, the former heavyweight champion, Joe Louis.
Harris has been a professional for 5 years and has lost only 1 fight during that stretch of time, and that was to heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson.
A bout with the #1 ranked contender, Roy Harris.
Sonny floors Harris with a smashing left hook.
God!
Liston ended it in the first round, dropping Harris 4 times.
Oh my God, he was good. He was so good.
Just rocked it.
With this victory, Sonny Liston is definitely the #1 ranking challenger in the heavyweight division.
Everyone knew Liston was the best boxer on the planet.
Who do you want to fight in the ring in your next engagement?
The man got the title.
Mr. Floyd Patterson, currently the heavyweight champion. Let us ask you this, Sonny. What have you heard are your chances of getting that title fight?
I think it's very good from what I hear.
But his checkered past was held up as a cause to pass him over.
Most of America didn't allow Liston to hold what was long considered the most glamorous title in sports, heavyweight champion of the world.
We know that as of December 1960, Sonny Liston was controlled by 2 powerful racketeer groups.
Were you associated with or have a business connection with John Vitale and Frank Palermo in the management or the contract of Sonny Liston, the #1 heavyweight contender?
I respectfully decline to answer the question on the ground that I cannot be compelled to be a witness against myself.
Liston was the last great champion to be delivered straight into the hands of the mob.
Unable to fight for the title due to the Senate investigation, Liston faced off against the German champion.
You see, Westlaw,
I don't know, like fucking send me overseas. I'm beating everybody ass.
Germany. From Germany, Albert Westphal.
He looks scared.
And coming in the ring on the left side of your screen now is Sonny Liston, reputed to be the most feared man in boxing at any weight. Liston, who has won 32 out of 33 fights, 22 by knockout.
From Philadelphia, Charles Sonny Liston.
Worked since an early age, managed to get into trouble as a youngster.
He's fighting low. He's about to get rocked. Oh my God, he's getting bullied.
But that power, everything he threw was hard. Talk about throwing with bad intentions. Everything he threw was hard.
Count is 6, 7.
Just literally put the German champion on his face in the first round.
8, 9, and 10.
Oh my God.
The fight is over in the first round.
Sonny delivered one of the most savage knockouts of all time.
Who, by virtue of this one-round KO tonight, has taken a long step toward a fight with Floyd Patterson.
After 6 years of being considered the number one contender in boxing, Sonny Liston would get a title shot. But New York wouldn't license Sonny, citing his murky history. Liston was nearly passed over again until Chicago gave the fighter his license.
Well, when they turned me down for a license in New York to fight for the championship, something I've always wanted to do. It was kind of sad that they did it, but Chicago made me very proud of it.
At last, he'd square off with heavyweight champion.
There's literally no way in hell that you're looking at this dude and you're thinking this guy's winning anything. There's no way.
Floyd Patterson. Floyd was a young prodigy.
God!
Trained by the great Customato.
Hold up now.
The adopted father of Mike Tyson.
Boom, perfect timing.
There was a lot of concern about Liston fighting for the title and getting the title.
They claim he's affiliated with gangsters and even worse. Others claim definitely that Sonny Liston is not entitled to this championship bout.
He's not who we would want to represent us. He's not the kind of image that we want. You know, this guy's he's been in prison. He's illiterate.
Comiskey Park, Chicago.
It was December 25, 1962 at Comiskey Park, Chicago.
The site of the most lucrative fight in the history of boxing.
Floyd insisted Sonny only get 12.5% of the gross.
The crowd booed Liston. No one wanted him to be the champion.
Oh, no, I'm knocking that nigga out first. I'm knocking him out first second. The first second, the anger alone from staring and looking at all those people knowing I'm only getting 10. I'm sorry I'm pausing so much, but I'm pissed.
The challenger, favorite of the odds makers, enters the ring. Sonny Liston, winner of 33 of 34 fights, 23 of them by knockout. The most formidable challenger the champion has ever met.
Liston didn't care if Patterson was the fan favorite. This was Sonny's moment.
Hell yeah!
After tonight, they'd have no choice but to embrace him.
Pennsylvania, Sonny Liston.
And you describe him in ways that sound like he was almost animalistic in the way that Mike Tyson was described early in his career.
The champion is restless in his corner, the challenger placid. Sonny Liston moves out to face the big chance of his turbulent life.
Liston used his reach to bully Patterson.
The Liston hook to the head is the first good punch of the fight.
One of the most devastating performances we've seen in the heavyweight title.
Drubbing Patterson with thudding combinations.
Just dropping at me. Oh!
And Liston gets to him against the rope with lefts and rights. Ties him up. Won't let him get away.
From King of the Streets.
Bye! Bye! Bye!
To King of the
Come on! Better get that man his flowers, baby! Come on!
Patterson was a sitting duck.
Patterson was out.
Solid left to the cheekbone. Drop the champion.
The time, 2 minutes and 11 seconds. The first round, Sonny Liston had become the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, boo now! Boo now!
Sonny Liston,
boo now!
the 21st heavyweight champion of the world.
Bro, he had that man so knocked out that he literally thought he was still in the fight. Oh my God.
Charles Sonny Liston had captured what was then known as the greatest prize in all of sport.
Charles Sonny Liston became heavyweight champion of the world on the night of September 25th, 1962, in a fight that lasted only 2 minutes and 6 seconds. His ring record ranks with the best.
Liston had expected that the dramatic victory would catapult him into the mainstream, that his past would be forgiven, and his future would be the adoration of the boxing community.
He believes he has wiped the slate clean, that he's going to be given a chance to become like Joe Louis, who's his hero.
He was wrong.
To say that's not what happened? Oh,
Liston got off the plane, turned into his hometown of Philadelphia, expecting a barrage of reporters and people to turn up.
And he just somehow assumed there would be a band and a crowd and the mayor of Philadelphia to greet him. And they got off the plane and nobody was at the airport. No band, no mayor, no crowd.
No one had come to greet him. And his shoulders just slumped.
It was a crushing experience for Sonny Liston.
He was devastated. He knew that this is the way it was going to remain.
He wasn't celebrated. He wasn't beloved.
The press
never
never let Sonny Liston.
Fuck it. I'd make sure that anybody that was loved, they're never ever stepping in the ring again. They getting dubbed. Hey, if I gotta fight one after another next night, it is what it is. Everybody, you gonna love me. You gonna love me or you ain't gonna have nobody to love. That's how I'm feeling. Put somebody else in the ring if you want to.
Live down his past. Never let it happen.
He would never be given a fair chance in the public eye.
He decides that the public is going to turn his back on him, he's going to turn his back on the public.
Heavyweight champion Sonny Liston resumes training at Miami Beach for his return bout with Floyd Patterson.
Outside, he wore a malevolent scowl. Underneath, he longed for acceptance and love.
Well, Sonny Liston is a total mystery. He's the most misunderstood athlete of all time.
He was a mysterious, solitary man, viewed as a devastating, hulkish intimidator.
And he hit Lincoln with a shot, and Lincoln's helmet flew off, and we thought his head had flew off, you know.
The stitching on the headgear, when he hit you, it came apart. He knocked the stuffing out of the headgear. I mean, this guy could really hit.
Would hit the speed bag so hard they would come off its hinges.
Sonny Liston's record has been and still is subject of considerable publicity, mostly bad.
Patterson appeared terrified of the rematch. Even his managers didn't believe he had a chance. They were right.
And the man who won that title last September at Comiskey Park, Chicago, in 2 minutes and 6 seconds. The heavyweight champion, Sonny Liston,
you gotta knock him out less
30
than a minute
years
now.
old.
In the 1960s, he was already in his 40s.
Holy!
Patterson trying to get underneath the champion's straight punches.
God!
Liston devastated Patterson for a second time, knocking him all over the ring.
And he had a great chin.
Oh my God, he hit that arm?
He had balance.
But Liston's countering left hook is on target.
He could go body, go to the head. His legs were always in position and always under him.
Second knockdown. Patterson's body trembles under the power of Liston's left-hand smashes.
But after defeating Floyd Patterson the second time, many people in and around boxing thought that Sonny Liston was invincible, that no one could beat him.
He just had enormous natural kind of gifts as a boxer.
Patterson, bewildered, is not sure that the fight has been stopped, this time in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Cus Yamada, who discovered Patterson, comforts his defeated protege.
If he had only been given the second chance that every other athlete, in particular boxer with a checkered background, had been given.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
He was a 22-year-old by the name of Cassius Clay. Liston, almost the first time he hits him. Could be one, perhaps two. I'll take one.
After holding the title for 2 years, Liston would face young Cassius Clay, who would change his name to Muhammad Ali during the lead-up.
Cassius Clay decided to announce that morning he had joined the black Muslim religion, an unpopular militant group.
Ali got into Liston's head like no other.
Now we'll see the craziest weigh-in in all boxing history.
You don't want to make Sonny mad. Sonny's bad enough when he's not mad. And Ali agreed to that all the way up. And then
Hey, let's go, baby. Hey, cool on. Thank you so much for the subby whoopie dub dub.
Hit the door.
Clay said anybody would have to be afraid of a crazy man.
It was all part of young Clay's master plan.
Cassius was smart, and he was clever, and he could get under Liston's skin more so than anybody ever.
I saw Sonny Liston a few days ago, Cash.
Ain't he ugly?
Come on.
He's too ugly to be the world champ. The world champ should be pretty like me.
Well, he told me to bet my life that you wouldn't go 3 rounds.
Well, if you want to lose your money, then bet on Sunday.
It had to be somebody who was whistling past the graveyard, somebody who had to be scared, who was trying to, keep his courage up before he was destroyed.
He was older when Ali fought him. People, he was almost twice Muhammad Ali's age.
I believe he was probably twice Muhammad Ali's age. I think he was probably born in 1990. I believe when Sonny fought Ali in 1964, he was probably 43 or 44 years old.
Liston's age cannot be underestimated.
And of course, he lost the fight to Ali, but we don't know if those fights were fixed either. Yeah, we don't know.
Liston during this fight was as old as 43.
Sonny didn't train at all. Came in there looking for a punch.
Liston fought angry, and he didn't train because nobody thought then Cassius Clay had a chance of winning that.
Very slippery.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
I remember that.
Guy yawning. Tell us what you think at the end of
The
one.
results of the 2 Ali Liston fights had far more to do with what took place outside of the ring than in it.
He's not even really fighting with the same intensity that he was like before in all the other visuals. Now, I don't know if that's because of the fact that he's missing. He's not like before he was landing the punches, which probably motivated him to swing more. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like now he's not even fighting with the same intensity. I don't know.
Big mouth below his left eye. And he's getting hit with all the punches in the book.
6th round, when Liston went back to his corner, Liston was a beaten man.
What do you think is going on in Sonny's mind at this point?
Well, I think that they feel now that Clay have all the confidence he needs and go on to defeat Sonny.
Cassius Clay, he's got peripheral vision, sharp. He's looking over my shoulder. He got up. We win.
Sonny Liston! Sonny out! Sonny Liston is knocked out! He's out! The winner and the new heavyweight champion of the world is Cassius Clay! Life's ongoing!
And in 1964, he became heavyweight champion of the world, upsetting Sonny Liston, the 7-1 favorite.
Electrified, and there he was right in front of me and a whole bunch of other newspaper men pointing down to us like this. I told you exactly what I was going to do.
And nobody, even the big
This was supposed to be his
sports writers,
too, bro.
they were in awe over what he had done.
So great, I don't have a mark on my face, and I upset Sonny Liston, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I'm the king of the world. Hold it. I'm pretty. Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the world.
What do you think about Muhammad Ali, former Cassius Clay? Do you think you can beat him?
Yes, I do.
The rematch with Ali was set. Liston's ties to the criminal underworld would take center stage.
What?
It was believed his wife and child were abducted, his own life threatened.
The second fight, he took a dive because his wife and his child were being held against their will. They were kidnapped. And Sonny was told, if you want to see them again, you have to lose.
But how are you so sure that your version of what happened in that second fight is true?
Sonny told Joe Louis, because they were very close. Joe told his wife, Martha Lewis, Joe's wife.
A number of theories have been floated about that second fight. As you know, Liston was in debt to the mafia through the fight to pay it off.
In the first round, Liston was hit with what is known as the Phantom Punch.
Introducing the challenger, Sonny Liston.
So it's just everything.
The heavyweight champion of the world.
That's why I always believe when, like, I always believe that stuff is rigged. Always. It's always some
rounds or less. The world heavyweight title, the big fight, the big night, round number 1. Here we go. You'll note that Cassius wants to stay out in the center of the ring.
And why did he throw that second fight? And there is no doubt that he threw that second fight.
He was threatened by the black Muslims, and he took a dive. Everybody knows it. I knew it.
There was no possible way that Ali could lose that fight.
I have no doubt that that was thrown.
And Liston takes a dive.
He was screaming at him, "Get up, you yellow bum. Nobody will believe this." When Ali walked back to his corner, he told his cornerman, he laid down.
Every boss and underboss won fortunes with that fight.
Whether or not he decided to stay down once he got hit, I think he did. If you watch it, just doesn't look realistic. The way he stumbled around, he didn't stumble around like a guy whose central nervous system got jacked.
Every person involved in boxing knew Sonny had taken a dive.
Again, did someone get to him in those Ali fights?
This moment would come to define Liston and ensured he'd never again get another title shot.
But the fact is that Sonny Liston's wife and child were being held against their will. They told Sonny, if you want to see them again, you have to lose this fight.
He's afraid of them. He was fearless, a big, but he was afraid of them because they would kill him. Frankie Carver would chew him up.
Liston would carry on fighting for 6 more years, winning 14 in a row, 13 by knockout.
But I mean, it's like he got involved with him, bro. But look at what his mental state was, bro. He had no mental, he had nobody helping him, nobody giving him the right knowledge.
The referee rules that the fight is over. Sonny Liston knocks out a game Amos Johnson.
In 1969, when Liston was between 47 and 51 years old, he took on the number 3 ranked contender.
He should be a good trial horse in determining how much Liston has.
50.
Oh! Liston is knocked out!
He wasn't loved the way Ali was loved. He never got that love.
And I'm going up into the ring. They have not yet revived Sonny Liston.
Boxing had discarded him, used, and taken for all he had. He fought one more time, winning a decision before retiring unceremoniously. He was a mysterious, solitary man who fought with his own demons until the day he died.
That Sonny was ordered to fix a fight, didn't, and the mob got very angry about that.
We know he was around a lot of difficult people.
It is known that he was in debt to several nefarious types.
It has left a cloud over his career. We don't know.
How can you be in debt?
Sonny Liston, the former heavyweight boxing champion, was found dead last night in his Las Vegas home by his wife. He was 38. He had been dead for at least a week.
What happened, we don't know if he really overdosed, if he was hit with a hot shot, we know he was afraid of needles.
His wife and many would testify that Sonny was absolutely petrified of needles.
That did make sense to people that know him.
Suggested a murder, not natural causes. And people have quibbled with me, but I'm telling you, I believe it.
Just as his birth was shrouded in mystery, so too was his death.
Wasn't too long ago, if you think back, that Sonny Liston was kind of considered the superhuman being, the unbeatable man. Remember, you used to see photographs of his muscles and of his tree trunk-like legs.
Charles Sonny Liston, an intimidator who remained a mystery outside of the ring, even in death.
On the surface, he was this sullen, sad, inarticulate monster.
That's all I know is a few words, and how to say them all.
But I think deep inside, he was misunderstood.
A fighter unlike any who came before him. A deeply hurt man who was born into violence and wielded it like few pugilists before him.
Liston going after Bill McMurray.
Sonny Liston, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Again, he's never going to get his due.
And McMurray goes down from a murderous barrage of punches. It's all over. The referee stops the fight.
Charles Sonny Liston.
One day I wish upon a star and wake up, build a cloud.
Nobody brings it home like Joe Vincent. Nobody. Make it so.
God, dude. Joseph puts together some of the best films, bro. I cannot wait to keep diving into these. Oh, if you have a special one that you really, really want me to check out, I'll definitely be able to get into that. I love you guys so much. Big peace, baby.